Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2025 Wildwood FSX 167. We are just going to start off the back of the unit. If you notice up top, which you've already opted for, you got set up with the observation camera. To the right of that, you do have the mount for the Lippert collapsible stair system. If you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact your parts department. At the back is going to be your spare tire, as well as your black tank flush. So we always recommend using this after every use, and we know that isn't always possible. So again, use it as much as you can. It's essentially a jet nozzle inside of your black tank that just helps break down solids as you're dumping. Now, of course, that's going to help with false monitor panel readings and just an odor around the unit, but it is just very important you do read the caution sticker letting you know that you have to have your sewer hose connected and your black tank valve open before using it. If you come to this side of the bumper cap, you're going to get access from both sides. Typically, it's going to be where you want to store your sewer hose after your first use. We have a brand new one located inside the front compartment, which is why there's nothing in here yet. But again, after your first use, it's probably the best place to put it. Just keeps as much smell out of the unit as possible. In this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you got stabilizer jacks. Before you go using these, of course, you want to make sure you pre-level the unit. Once the unit is already level, then that is when it's time to run your feet down. Because again, if you run these feet down and try and use the scissor jacks to try and level the unit, you do run the risk of bending them. To the left of that, get your main sewer outlet, take that cap, twist it off. Your sewer hose is going to have the same ears, twist and lock into place, just like so. At that point, you got your black valve on your right. That's going to be the one you're going to want to do first. This is your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with your gray valve. It's typically a little bit cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. You got your two low point drains, so that's going to be great at the end of your winterization process to empty most of the antifreeze out of the lines. Or if you're ever servicing any faucets and you just don't want water going stale or stagnant, again, cracking those guys open just creates less of a mess. Opening up this guy here, this is your hot water service port. Now, because this is a tankless water heater, if you've had a camper before, it does function and winterize a little bit differently. I know at home, if you've had a camper before, it had a tanked water heater, in which case, when it came time to winterize it, if you were doing that yourself, you had bypass valves and stuff you had to worry about turning because you didn't want antifreeze entering the system. This system is the complete opposite. You do want to run antifreeze through it, and once you're done your winterization process completely, just crack this pressure relief valve and leave it cracked open for the duration of winter. On and off switch to provide power to your thermostat inside. Whenever you aren't using the unit, I always recommend turning this off just so it doesn't try and fire itself while you're away. And if your propane's off, it's not that it would, but it's just harder on the igniter and stuff. 30 amp service, take that off. Of course, this is our shop cord. Your cord will pretty much look exactly the same. You're just taking out of that notch there. It lines up with this notch on this side. Pressing that into place, 8th turn to lock it in. You got that threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this, you can plug right on in. But let's say you had the unit at home, or you just wanted to, or your campsite only had a 15 amp service, which is your standard household outlet. We do include that adapter. Just keeping in mind, whenever you are using it, you're not gonna be able to run your air conditioner. Exterior shower, standard 751 key, open up that guy. Get your fresh water inlet. So that is for, of course, if you're out boondocking or your campsite not having water, this is how you can siphon water in. Right below that, you get your city water connection. So if you're out of site with service, just thread a garden hose in there, turn it on. It does pressurize all those lines without the need to run your water pump. It is just advised to use a water regulator whenever you are using that. Coming down right below the floor, we got this white cap in my hand. I just finished summarizing your unit for you, which is why that was draining. Once it's done draining, place that cap back into place. Again, this is where you're going to empty that fresh tank in case you didn't use all that water. You don't want to be carrying it around for no reason. Not only is it hard on the tank itself, but just extra weight in your tow vehicle, costing you more fuel. And of course, with today's fuel prices, you don't want to try and keep that a little low. I guess speaking for myself anyways. Furnace exhaust, whenever your furnace is running, it's going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. Might not be a bad idea. When you go to fire up your furnace, just take a peek outside. Just make sure there's nothing too close in front of here that can either melt or burn. First side of your storage compartment, opening up that guy. Again, you got your power cord, goes right through to the other side. Just, of course, whenever you are using the storage space, you want to be mindful of drains, water lines, and wiring. You're not going to affect any of that too much. Around the front of the unit, get your battery disconnect switch right here on the wall, turning that to the on position. The batteries are connected to the unit. Batteries housed inside this box here. Propane is housed underneath this cover. Get what you need done most of the time just by loosening off that tab, flipping over the cover. You get the access to your one tank. Now to get this cover off, it is pretty simple. Just pull up on it, lifts right out of place. But there is no need to do that today because it's not empty. But again, when it does come time that it's empty, just pull on the cover, it slips right up. We got the other side of your storage compartment. This is also where you're gonna find a majority of your accessories that you opted to go with. Starter kit, sewer hose, 15-foot park adapter, some other miscellaneous goodies. Main entry door, which is where we'll be entering through today. A couple outlets on the outside. And then last but not least, for the outside anyways, flip this guy open. This is where you're gonna find your exterior mini fridge. Now this is its main purpose is just for drinks because it does only work on shore power. Now if you are putting this somewhere where you're always plugged into shore power, of course you can put whatever you want in there, but just know that if you do travel, it won't be on. So keep that in mind. Now to take a step on inside, take that assist handle, push it up, fold it 90 degrees. I already got the stairs pulled out, but those just pull out. And you can open up your door. Now, extra note, with your door open all the way, it is running into contact with that awning arm. So if you tried to run your awning, probably going to cause some damage. So again, you want to make sure that you do close that door about 90 degrees. So that way that awning can travel back and forth through you without causing any sort of issues. Inside, the far right switch turns on your main living space lights so you can see what you're doing, especially if you got here at night. Mounted panel system, pushing the button tells you the corresponding level to each tank. Awning LED light, water pump switch, obviously drawing out of your fresh tank, and then you get your awning switch. Push that down. That allows that awning to make its way out. Unfortunately today, I don't know if we'll be able to make it out all the way, but you would know that awning has its full extension when you see the back of the metal tube and a little flap hang down. A little note, sometimes that flap may get stuck, so you might just have to retract it a couple feet and put it back out again for that to come down. And that's all I'm going to be wanting to extend it today just because I don't want to run it into the shelf. Now if it were to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, pinch the two clasps, pinches in on this. You could then pull in on that awning arm. It changes the pitch, allowing water to now run off. Now, of course, if you do like that angle better, you can do the same thing with the front arm. Just make sure that you always put these arms back to their natural resting positions before you bring your awning in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything again. And then to bring the awning in, it's just as simple as pushing and holding the up button. The awning's going to start rolling its way in, and once the arms contact the side of the trailer, the motors will automatically cut out. Now, an extra note, especially on a day like today when it's super windy, you're not going to want to have that awning out. If you do, try and remember to come back and put it in, as again, you don't want to run the risk of bending your arms or ripping your fabric. It gets pretty costly pretty quick. Now that that awning is in, we're in the main living space. So if you had a TV you wanted to put, this is going to be the best place to do so, just keeping in mind of the size. There isn't a whole lot of space here, but this is unfortunately where they put the backer, so this is the best place to do it. Plug-ins up top. You get this little button here. It turns that green light on. That's turning the antenna on the roof. That's going to also improve cell phone frequency. So again, we recommend using it whenever you're camping, but whenever you're not using the unit, trying to remember to turn it off is pretty important as it does draw battery power. Fire exit, take that tab, pull on it. The screen's going to pop right into place. At that point, take this handle, push it up towards the window. You would then be able to now hop out, which I'll have to go outside to bring it in now. But that's how you would go out. Now, keeping in mind, there is a little bit of a hop down. So again, feet first is most optimal. But if there's a fire, just getting out as quickly as possible is, of course, what is most important. Over here, you get your Murphy bed. So fold down, pull the little cushions out of the way for your armrests. Grab your binder, which, by the way, includes all your keys, manuals, all that important stuff that you want to have with this unit is in that binder. Pick up on the foot of the couch, folds it down, mattress comes down right behind it, flip that last leg down, push it in, you have yourself your bed. Now you're going to notice you got sleep app access on both sides. So if you are a sleep app user, that's great. There's also plugins inside of there as well. And then to get this all to fold in, it is just the opposite, fold the one guy back, flip it over, that'll allow you to pick up at the foot of your couch and kind of assist it back into place. Now again, there is tons of storage inside of this unit, just of course whenever you are using it, be mindful of drains, water lines, and wiring. You got your JBL Bluetooth speaker here. So this is the sound system for the unit. Works like any regular at-home JBL speaker. Connect your phone to it, you're all good to go. Actually, and even a bonus, if you push the power button, turns it on. You got the source button up at the top. We're in Bluetooth currently. There is an actual FM transmitter built into this. And that is the sound system for the unit. Pick up on it. Comes right out of place, so you can take it to the beach with you wherever you need to go. You're all good to go. I thought that was pretty cool that they included these. They didn't include these for too many years, so enjoy it. Kitchen area. Now, before we start going over much, I'm going to go over propane notes. Got your LP detector over here near the ground. If that guy ever starts going off, turn off your main supply of propane at the front of the unit, open up some windows and vents, and get some fresh oxygen inside of here. Now, whenever you turn the propane system off the front of the unit, it does allow air into the system. Once air makes its way in, it has to be purged out. Now, the quickest, easiest way to do that, and I tell all my customers this, is just by firing up your stove whenever you first get to your campsite, and that's because you get to decide how long the gas runs for and how many lighting sequences it goes through. Your water heater and your furnace will only try lighting themselves a couple times, and if they don't sense a flame because there's no gas getting to it yet, throw a trouble code or a fault code. And if you don't know what that means, obviously you could throw a little bit of frustration into your weekend, especially if it's freezing like it has been here in Manitoba and the heat is something you want to use. So to avoid all that and keep your good times rolling, come to your stove. I always like to do a test fire of the burners. So when we turn it on like that, just making sure you're seeing the igniter spark at both burners, so that way if gas starts flowing through like you see it did right away here, only because I had the system running earlier, it ignites right away instead of having enough time to build up. And if there was a source of combustion, obviously if your face is close by, you might lose some eyebrows and eyelashes. So I know none of us enjoy that, so let's just be safe whenever doing so. Lift your head up, kind of hold it back a little bit, turn your igniter on. Again, fired up quickly today only because I had the system running earlier. Sometimes it can take a few seconds to a few minutes, so just be patient with it. And as long as you see that burner sparking, and as soon as gas starts flowing out, it will light. Now, with that being said, if you ever walk in and you smell propane, don't try and light anything. Make sure you air it out really, really well before you do, just to avoid any sort of accidents from happening. Up top, you get your microwave, just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there. Range hood, I always do recommend running this whenever you're running your stove. That way you're evacuating those propane fumes as you create them. Then you get your standard kitchen sink area, pretty standard. Again, you got this thermostat here. So turning this on, this is for your hot water heater. Up or down at any time to change your set temperature, Celsius and Fahrenheit with the press of a button. Now you want to set this where you find the water the most comfortable with just the hot tap on. You don't want to have to blend in the cold at all because this is an on-demand heater. As soon as you do turn on the cold, that's when it affects the flow of the water heater, which could cause inconsistent water temperatures. To the left of it, you get your thermostat for your furnace. Your furnace is 12-volt propane fired, fires all its air through that little duct you have right below the cameraman's foot. Slide that over all the way to the right. That's its hottest setting. Anywhere before that is obviously a cooler setting. Clicking it over to the off position, as you can tell, the furnace still hasn't kicked off, and that's because it just run for an additional 3 minutes to allow itself adequate time to cool off. Above my head, you got your shore powered AC unit. Again, you do have to have a 30 amp service for this to function. I mean, you can try it on a 15 amp service, but I can almost guarantee it will trip the breaker on either your house or garage, whatever you are plugged into. Turning this over to the first two options are low fans, just moving air around using the air conditioner, no heating or cooling involved. After that, you get a high fan, again, no heating or cooling involved. After that, you get the blue one, so low and high. That's when the air conditioning takes into effect. Now over here, you're gonna notice you got a temperature knob. Honestly, I'm not even sure why they include these on most of them, because 90% of these air conditioners don't have heat pumps installed, and this one doesn't either. So again, you can just leave that on that blue setting all the time, because that's all it's gonna do. There's no heat pump installed on this one. All the way back over like that to turn it off. Dinette area, in case you're having some extra guests, it does flip down into a bed. So you have to remove the feet underneath the tabletop, set your tabletop on its desired ledges. Super important note for this unit here specifically, sliding bathroom door. Always making sure you got this bungee travel strap latch. That way that door is nice and secure during travel. If you undo it, it does allow this door to travel around freely. So again, if this is like this during travel, you might rip it off or cause damage to something else. So just be mindful of that. Bathroom light switch is dead ahead. Pretty standard bathroom space, tons of storage. And that is pretty much going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.